Hello children and welcome to the session today. Children, today we are going to learn about some of the substances that are present all around us. So anything that is present around us that we use is known as a material. Now some of these materials are natural, as we all know. For example, clay, soil, all these are natural. Some of these are man-made. What are man-made? For example, plastic is man-made. So today in chapter number 3, we are going to talk about synthetic fibers and plastic. So anything man-made that is made of chemicals is known as synthetic. In this chapter, we are going to learn about man-made materials and their sources, monomers and polymers, synthetic and natural fibers, plastics, thermoplastics, thermosettings, and their uses. So now, having understood the type of materials, natural and man-made or synthetic, let us recall the natural fibers that we have studied in junior classes. So we know of cotton, we know of wool. These are all natural fibers. Now, in case of cotton and wool, they have different limitations. For example, they need a lot of wash care. They are subject to insects. That is the reason they need to be stored very carefully. Now, talking about man-made or synthetic fibers, they have much less effect or much less storage problems or much less maintenance problems as compared to natural fibers. So today in this chapter, we are going to learn about some of these synthetic fibers. But to understand how they are formed, let us learn about polymers. So if you look at this very simple example, this is a chain, as you can see here. Now in this chain, what can you see? You can see that there are many tiny units that are linked together to form a long chain. Now these tiny units that form this chain are called monomers. This is one unit. When many of these monomers are joined together, it becomes a polymer. Now, the process by which monomers are joined together to form polymers is known as polymerization. Now, there are simple polymers and there are complex polymers. These polymers are light in weight, they are very strong, that means they have a high tensile strength, they have a longer life and agility. They are highly compressible. They can be molded into many shapes and they are produced using cheap raw material. Now these synthetic fibers are also polymers. They are also made by polymerization of some basic unit which is different for different synthetic fibers. Let us study about nylon and rayon first. Nylon was the first synthetic fiber to be made by man. It is a polymer fiber made up of polyamide chains in which the monomer is an amide. It is a very strong fiber and it is used to make fishing nets, climbing ropes, parachute fabrics, saris, socks, etc. Rayon is a synthetic fiber prepared from cellulose by chemical processes in industries. Cellulose is obtained from wood pulp. It is also called artificial silk because it resembles silk. It is used to make bed sheets, carpets, tire cords, bandages, etc. So now with nylon and rayon, we understand how we are creating easy to use fabrics. Not only easy to use, fabrics which are very strong, fabrics which dry easily, fabrics which are very easy to store and maintain. Let's move on to polyester. Polyester is also a synthetic fiber made up of monomers called ester. It is manufactured from petroleum products. It is used to make saris, curtain cloth, water hoses, sails, etc. Terracotta is made by mixing polyester with cotton and is used to make shirts and trousers. Terylene, a polyester fiber, is mixed with wool to make terry wool, which is used to make suits. Acrylic is another synthetic fiber made from polyacrylonitrile. Polyacrylonitrile is obtained by the polymerization of acrylonitrile molecules obtained from petroleum products. Acrylic is lightweight, warm and soft, giving it a wool-like feel. It is cheaper than wool and is used to make sweaters, shawls, blankets, jackets, etc. So now we have learned about polyester and acrylic. An interesting thing to note is we generally use the word PET bottle, which refers to a plastic bottle. Now what is this PET? This is polyethylene tetraphthalate. Polyethylene tetraphthalate, which is PET. This PET is used to make bottles, jars, utensils, and even the windscreens of racing cars. Now children, these were some of the synthetic fibers. Let's move on now to plastic. When we talk about plastic, we are talking about things that are used in everyday life. Even on your table right now, you can point out 10 different things that are plastic. So how this plastic has entered our life is because it finds diverse use. It can be shaped into multiple shapes. It can survive heat. Let's understand more about plastics now. Plastics are also polymers made up of a very large number of monomers. Plastics are used by all of us in our daily life. Plastics are non-reactive as they do not react with water or air. They do not corrode like metals. They are used to make raincoats, curtains, soles of shoes, etc. Plastics are light and rigid and are widely used in industry and household articles. Plastics are poor conductors of heat. Handles of utensils are made of bakelite, a kind of plastic which does not conduct heat. Electric wires are covered with plastics and handles of screwdrivers are also made of plastics to prevent an electric shock. Plastics are grouped into two kinds depending on how they behave towards heat. Thermoplastics are plastics that can be melted by heating and molded again and again into different things like polythene, polyvinyl chloride and polystyrene. Thermosetting plastics are plastics that do not become soft on heating and cannot be remolded the second time like melamine, formica and bakelite. So till now, we have learnt about all these synthetic fibers. And a very, very important issue that lies in front of us is that plastics take several years to decompose. And because of that, what is happening? All this plastic, the waste is piling up. Now, children, this is definitely a hazard. Now, if you have read news of late, you will see that there are cities who are trying to create roads out of plastic bottles. So in this way, different people are finding different use of plastic so that they do not get dumped in the environment. So in this chapter, we have learned a lot about synthetic fibers and plastics. We have learned how these affect our day-to-day life, how their use and misuse can affect us. I hope you have really enjoyed the session today. Thank you.